Now, I don't know if you remember all the way back in take 10, so in level 1 of the foundation, when I said very often when we first start meditating, we might kind of be quite surprised or even shocked at the sheer volume of thoughts in our mind, the busyness. We might even think that it's the meditation that's causing that busyness, but of course it's simply becoming more aware. In the same way, when we're looking at any particular pattern of mind, in this instance, it's self-esteem, we tend to become more aware of that by nature. We kind of can't help it. And we might be shocked, we might be surprised, we might even be a bit saddened by the sheer volume of negative chatter in the mind directed at oneself. It can be really quite unnerving, quite comfortable, for some people even scary to kind of see that, to witness that, and to feel it. So just something to be aware of as you're going through the next sort of 25 days or so, that it's quite normal that when you're focusing your attention on an exercise like this, you will become more aware of that negative chatter. The difference, however, is that rather than being caught up in it and feeling overwhelmed by it, it's seen clearly, simply as thoughts, simply as feelings, nothing more than that. It's not who you are, it's not how you kind of necessarily identify yourself. It's simply seeing those things clearly. So again, just something to be aware of. It's perfectly normal. Don't be unnerved by it in any way if you do see those things more clearly. For now, though, we're going to come back to focusing on that technique of noting. So just set yourself up, take a moment to get comfortable. Eyes open. A nice soft focus, aware of the space around you. And when you're ready, some nice big deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And with the next out breath, just closing the eyes and allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm as you just feel the body sink down, pressing down against a chair or the floor beneath you. Feet on the ground. And just starting to notice all the different sounds around you right now. And just bringing the attention back once again to the body. Noticing how the body feels, what's comfortable, what's uncomfortable as you scan down. from the top of the head all the way down to the toes. And as you move down towards the toes now, just starting to be more aware of the breath, the rhythm of the breath. Just taking a moment to settle into that feeling. And now slowly starting to count the breaths as they pass. So remember the breath, no more than an anchor, a place to come back to, a place to rest our awareness. As soon as we got distracted, just gently, very lightly, remember that idea of a feather on a glass. Just noting it, thinking or feeling, and then coming back to the breath. So remember, perfectly normal for the mind to wander. But each time you realize it's wandered, just gently noting and coming back to the breath. So remember, the moment that you note it as thinking or feeling, you let it go. There's no more thinking about it. Simply label it and return to the breath. And now letting go of that focus. Just allowing the mind to do whatever it wants to do. Just for a few seconds, allow the mind to be free. And just bringing the attention now back to the body. Back to those physical sensations of the body pressing down against a chair or the floor. Starting to become more aware of the space around you, any sounds. And just taking a moment or two before opening the eyes. But as you sit there, as you pause, noticing how you feel. Reminding yourself the importance of not just taking this time now in the day, but to come back to this feeling throughout the day. Remember, we're looking for about five or six times throughout the day where you just catch yourself caught up in thought, you label it, thinking or feeling, and you come back to whatever you're doing. You don't have to come back to the breath. You might be returning to eating or walking or whatever you're doing at the time, but just coming back to the present moment. And just as a backdrop to this, these first 10 days are really just about building up a picture, better understanding the type of thinking, the volume of thinking, and creating that bit of space. So just start to notice during the day, how much of your day do you think is caught up in negative thinking about yourself? Again, not to think about this. It's really important. We're not thinking about it, analyzing it. We're simply noticing. And kind of at the end of the day, just kind of thinking, okay, so maybe it was 10%, 30%, whatever it might be. It's really useful to have a clear understanding of this. And as we move on to part 2 and part 3, that will make a lot more sense. But I'll finish there today, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for day 7.